This is just a test to see how I can stream while I'm working in Lightroom and in Photoshop. So this is just a test. I just had to see if the audio is okay, if it works switching between Lightroom and Photoshop, and yeah, just trying out maybe for later when I'm going to do a more comprehensive tutorial, or at least showing off what I can do in Photoshop. So without much further ado, and excuse my broken English, I hope you understand me, those of you who will be watching this. And you maybe notice I have a different kind of screen. So in the upper part of the screen, you will see what I see on my monitor. And if you are watching the upper part of the screen right now, you will see that I have Lightroom, which is the program I use to do my first part of the editing. So in Lightroom right now, I have photos from my last shoot. It was last Saturday, I think, almost a week ago, here in Tromsø, Norway. It has been quite fair weather lately. So I took the opportunity and asked one of my regular models, whose name is Synne. I will link to her Instagram in the video description later on. So we went to outdoor location. I usually shoot in a photo studio, but I have bought some, I have the opportunity to shoot outside also. I have a Godox AD600 Pro, and I have a tripod for the flash, and I have a light meter and different soft boxes, octoboxes, so I can go outside and take pictures if I like. So we didn't have any sort of real planning for this shoot. I just wanted to go outside and try to get some nice photos where I combined flashlight and the natural light outside. So we went to a place just a few minutes from where I live. It's industrial area, and I think they make cement and building materials for the construction business in my town. And this place I have been a couple of years ago, maybe 2 years ago, I sent an email and also phoned them to ask for permission to use their place as a location. This I do every time I find a new place. I always contact the ground owner, the people who own the place, if it's okay if I can come someday and take pictures there. And 9 out of 10 times it's positive. They don't mind so long as I don't interfere with their work. And this was a Saturday, I think, and so there was no people there, no people working there. And it's open. Everybody can drive down there if they like. But I don't think many people know this place, so it's a little bit secret. Anyway, we went down there, and it was a very beautiful day. Quite cold, but it was sunny, and it was not overcast. It was little bit clouds, but it was nice clouds, like you could make out in the sky. So it's not completely blue. You have a little bit of white in the sky, so you could compose your photos, and if you like to do with only the sky as the background. And luckily we did some planning beforehand. I told Tove and her mother, Synne and her mother Tove about the location, and they brought with them some clothes dresses, and these dresses actually fit quite well with location. So I shot a lot of photos. I think I shot maybe 1,000. This is not normal for me. I shoot in studio sometimes 300, sometimes 500, sometimes 1,000 photos. It's I shoot all the time because I see taking photos as sketching. You know, when you sketch on paper, you draw something. You always make adjustments. You always maybe turn the page and make a new sketch. So with taking photos, for me, it's the same. You take photos and you chip away. If you're a sculptor, you chip away until you get what you want to have. You see it in your mind, and when you take photos, photos, and then you maybe see something, and then you have the photo. So I work a lot like this. I like to do a lot of photos, and also because it's it makes them the ones who've been taking picture of more relaxed. I think if you take a lot of pictures, not like a ton of pictures in short time, but when people are in the studio, they are often nervous, and maybe they have not much experience. So I try to make the experience as pleasant as possible, and taking a lot of photos, I think, is a way to show, to get people used to the flashes going off, and I giving instructions on how to pose. And also I like to move back and forth and try different angles. Again, it's like sketching, because you're trying to get a sort of you have an idea maybe in your head, or not exactly a concrete idea. It's more like you have when you take pictures. Sometimes I think, for me, it's like I take pictures, and then I see something, and it's like, wow, that's exactly. And maybe that it's because it's a combination of other pictures I've seen other photographers taken. I look at a lot of art. I look at a lot of other works photographers do. From films, everything is like stored in my brain, and when I take pictures, sometimes I take pictures, and one picture maybe I see, wow, and I can't explain it. It's like it's an expression of something that is a combination of previous experiences, and I see something that I think is really good. Yeah, I'm just watching at Camry because I'm using my Sony camera, and it went silent, and it's not silent all the time. That means it's working because it's a focus motor inside the lens. It's a 35mm Sigma 1.4 art, so it has quite shallow field of view. So that's why behind me and front is out of focus. Yeah, anyway, back to the shoot. So I took a lot of pictures, and I did today just a quick edit of one photo of Synne. This is her. Let me see if I can make it bigger, or maybe not. Anyway, so this is of her. It's a shot with 105mm Sigma, I think. I'm not really good with names of my equipment, but it's a 105mm, which means it's a very good portrait lens, and it's also a 1.4, which means that it has a very shallow depth of field. And you can see that in these photos because her eyes are in focus, while you can see the top half of the hood she's wearing is out of focus. And also you can see that the background is completely blurred out, so it's just focus on her eyes and parts of her hair. I think also maybe her tip of the nose is a little bit out of focus. So, but this was meaning of these photos was to take with this. She has very expressive eyes, Synne. So I was trying to make a picture with focus on her eyes. I'm a stickler, maybe that's the name, stickler for what you call it, symmetry. So to me, it was it's okay picture, but I'm sort of annoyed about this other half, this right side of her hood, because it's sticking out a little bit. But it was a good picture, I think. And so this was taken with natural light. This is not taken with flash. I just first took a couple of photos with to dial in what the camera was supposed to be at, the values on the shutter speed and the ISO and the aperture. So when I have that dialed in and I can see in the camera that it's a good exposure, I can work with the photo. So I shoot all the time in manual mode. I never shoot with auto mode. It's because I lose control. And it's, if you shoot with auto, you take maybe 2 pictures, then you walk to a different place and take new pictures, and maybe the pictures will be darker or lighter because the camera is changing the settings if you shoot auto. So I shoot manual all the time, since I can then have the same level of light and mood in the photo. And this is one of those pictures I took of her with. This is taken, which is I think I'm kneeling actually. So I'm shooting up, and she's standing in front of the sky, and you can see the small puffs of white in the background. Those are the clouds, because I think clouds makes the blue not so uniform, and it's of course you can at once, okay, it's a sky, it's not a blue ceiling or a blue background. I also used the high-speed syncer. I don't remember the exposure on the flash, but I shot it here at 2500 of a second, and aperture 3.5 and ISO 100, because it's very bright. So I had to dial down the aperture, the shutter speed, and just a little bit of flash to light her up on camera right side here. So actually the original is quite dark. Let me see if I can fish it out for you. I can reset it. And you can see here it's this is the original. So what I did, I brought up the shadows a bit, and tweaked a little bit with the colors. So let me go back here and undo what I just did. Okay, there we go. Well, let's see. So I can show you a few more photos here. Let me see if I can go back to. There you go. This is what I. This is how the photo looked before I made a few adjustments in Photoshop. So this is another one I haven't worked with, but I also look like this. It's because she's looking out to the side, so we can. What I do in Lightroom usually is like I use Lightroom to get an idea of the finished composition. So here I have the original ratio of the camera sensor. In Photoshop I can select, for instance, square if I like, or I can select if I like more film, like I can choose 16.9. I can play with that expression. So every time you choose, you see another framing. You also change how the viewer views the photo. So because I choose now 16.9, it's more filmatic, so I can apply some sort of film grain to it, and all of a sudden it's a movie. I can make it like so. She looks out to the side, so it looks quite dramatic here. Or I could make her look very close to the frame like this. So this is more like, and also with the clouds here on the left side, it makes a nice break with blue, I think. So so I took a lot of pictures. If you can see, I can maybe make it bigger here. let me see. No, I can't move it big up. Okay, so I took a lot of pictures here of her standing with the hood. So I may pick one more here, I don't know. And I took some few of her with, this is also taken with a flash. So this is another location. And just a second, I got some, oh, nothing important on my phone. So, so this is a week ago, so I haven't had time because I have a lot of work. I also work as a teacher, so I have a lot of this to do. So if you're a student of mine watching this, just don't worry. If you're waiting for your paper to be graded, it's just around the corner. So anyway, so I'm just looking through the photos and making selections of what I like. I also sometimes make JPEG copies of every photo and upload it to Google Disk so that the people who have taken picture of can help me choose what photos they like. And yeah, and these are the last 500 or so photos. I ditched the flash because I was having trouble using it actually. I think it was overheating and I didn't know how to properly use it. I haven't been shooting so many times with high-speed sync, only maybe 4 times, so I don't have really grapple with the setup quite yet. So at the end I just, okay, we just shoot without the flash. And when you I think it's, if you have good light and you shoot without the flash, it's really great creatively, because you can then move like all what you like, and you don't have to worry about where is the flash and how do you have to move the flash to get the proper light. So here I was just instructing her to walk around, and we did a couple of different moods. I liked she's really at this point I think she's enjoying the shoot, and I'm using still the 105. So this was out of focus, but I'm shooting this time with manual automatic focus. I focus on her eyes all the time, but sometimes it doesn't focus properly, and you can see a couple of these are out of focus actually, so it's a bit shame, but that's why I shoot a lot, because I really hate it when if you have maybe 10 pictures and one of them is really good, but it's out of focus. So I shoot a lot. I shoot 100 and maybe then 10 is out of focus, but at least I know one will be okay. So here I just try to move to the side and get more dramatic expression, and also since I shoot with a 1.4 aperture, the background and the foreground is out of focus, so I just try different framing and also move to the other side and try to get some photos a bit more of the wall. So this is I just going through them all the time. So you see I take a lot of pictures, so I haven't really had time to look at them properly because I have a lot of this work. So I will maybe have a look at it later this next week. So here I am going really close, and you see I had some trouble with the focus, and finally got figured it out and got back to taking these photos. So and I took some also with just her standing not in front of something, so that when I shoot with 1.4 aperture, the background is completely wiped out. You don't see anything. So this is a good way to get to focus only on her. The problem with 1.4 aperture is that you can see here it's like one eye is in focus and the other one is not in focus, because the field of view is so shallow that if you move your head a little bit to the side, this eye will be in focus because the shallow field of view, it only covers this eye and the rest will be out of focus. So I had to make a selection where I found some which were more or less, so I forgot about it. And here I remember it. So here I have her looking straight at the camera. So both her eyes are here in focus. So and at the end we just tried something. We moved her to an opening in a big room, and the room had some opening in the roof, and the sky was coming through and making these nice blue patterns behind her. And also, since she has mostly reds, yellow, orange, and orange, its opposite color on the color wheel is blue. So I try to go a little bit down and try to make something out of the blue colors. So this is also something I haven't worked on yet. So these were the final ones I took. So I will try to pick someone out here, because you see, I think the blue background made a nice contrast to the reds and orange in her skin and on the dress. So I can't see the chat, so this is just a test. I don't know if anyone is watching, but in case you're watching, I hope if you have any questions, you can just put them in the comments. I don't think anyone is watching, but in case, you can always ask me a question if there's something here you like to ask about. So anyway, I just end this test by showing what I actually picked, and which I have worked on. And the one that was the most was most liked was this one. She's standing in the corner of a place where they mix the sand or something, and you can see in the background some industrial buildings, and she's standing here with a handmade dress that I think her mother has made. It's a really nice dress, and she's posing. And again, this is one of the pictures that I also very happy with, because it's close to the expression I wanted, both in terms of technical quality, but also in terms of how she's posing, holding hands and posing with her body, and the expression, of course, in her face. I think that worked out quite well. Another one is this one, and I like this one because you can see the wind is here, so you can see some of the hair is catched in the wind, and also you can see the she's carrying some shawl, and the shawl is also caught up in the wind. So it's even though she's standing still, there's movement in the image. And I also like her eyes here. It's really nice. I did some work on the eyes. Maybe I'll show it some other time how I do that. It's not really difficult. So and this is just this is something I just picked and did a very quick retouching on. But it's a nice soft light. This is shot natural light, so I didn't do much with it. I just did a very minor retouching on the skin, and just left it as it's almost is. So that's a good thing about sometimes you don't need to do much retouching when you're shooting location, I think, because when you're in studio, it's always more obvious, both the mistakes you make as in terms of lighting, but also in terms of maybe makeup, and maybe the light is more harsh, so imperfections in the skin is much more visible in the studio sometimes. So here I didn't do much. So yeah, so anyway, that's it. I think I don't think I will say more. So if you find this interesting, hooray! Great. So this was just a test. So okay, thank you, and have a nice weekend.